When Kobe and I decided to create a podcast and coined it the Father Son Podcast, most would feel this is a gimmick for the podcast, and that couldn't be further from the truth. From the day Kobe was born, I introduced him to video games. This was a way of life for me, as I can remember my father buying me the Odyssey home system, where the cellophane field that clung to the TV determined what game you were playing. Kobe's love for video games grew, as did the bond of a father and a son. When I introduced him to online play, his world opened to new heights. He learned quickly that the incredible gaming experience wasn't just something shared between a father and a son, but there was an entire world that shared his passion for gaming. Gaming was just part of his upbringing, as school or sports was. We always made arrangements that a video game experience was just an arm's length away, even when we went on vacation. As Kobe got older, our experience took us to the road, experiencing events like the Great E3 to more modern events like Summer Game Fest, the Xbox Experience, IGN, and PAX. Kobe graduated from college and now works in the video game industry on the Xbox team. So, as you can see, it was nothing but natural progression to now share our experience and love of the industry through our podcast. Now sit back and enjoy the ride.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Father and Son Gaming Podcast right here on Active Reload Gaming. My name is Kobe, aka Kobe127. That is Kevin, aka Octane699. Happy long weekend, everyone. If you have today off, I did. It's been great. Been doing chores and cleaning. So much fun. But welcome to each and every one of you here. Dad, how you doing?
Not too bad. I didn't have off today.
That sucks. It was a nice chore day, but it is what it is.
It would have been a gaming day if I had off.
I wish I was gaming, but like I said, I had to get a lot of stuff done because this weekend was so jam-packed. So it was good to kind of catch up on everything. But I did get some gaming done this weekend, as we're going to be talking about. I got most of the way through High on Life 2, so ready to give my review, and we're going to be doing some God of War Sons of Sparta first impressions, because that's the new God of War game that Shadow dropped as we live reacted on Thursday to the state of play. I just want to give a pulse check. How you feeling now that we're a few days removed from the state of play? Does it still hold up for you?
It still holds up because, to be honest with you, I went back and watched some more of it again just to refresh, and obviously the shorts and reels and everything that we put out during the week.
Yeah.
It still hits hard. It still hits hard.
It seems like, in terms of reception, the people were very much excited for the new John Wick game, which I'm very excited for. Sure. Though I do wish, in a perfect world, the people who made Sifu would have been amazing developers for John Wick. But I am very happy to see what Saber is going to be cooking up, as it's the Space Marine devs, and they cooked up a great game with Space Marine. So we'll see what they do with that. And yeah, I think ending on such a high note with the God of War remake trilogy, what was pretty impressive, and a brand new God of War game that I'm very excited to talk about because it is such an interesting game, and we'll do something here in just a few moments. But yeah, like I said, gaming, Valentine's Day weekend, a lot going on. So
yeah, and I think when we take a look, we do our shorts and put them out, and I always follow them to see what really hits. And you just said it earlier. I'm surprised how big that John Wick is hitting for our shorts. Like, that's really, really. I think I can't gauge by anybody of what their, a game of the show was, but the John Wick for us is just really hitting it.
The thing is, it does cross over into the movie world as well. So you got two fandoms coming out. Also, it's the Baba Yaga. Everyone loves the Baba Yaga. So yeah, I really thought it was going to be God of War that really hit the scene, but John Wick, hey, I'm excited that everyone's excited for it. But we got some games to talk about today. We got some reviews to go over. So let me roll through all this, make sure each and every one of you know what is happening. So to anyone who is new or returning, you can follow us on all of our socials right here if you haven't already. You can follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Spotify, at Active Reload Gaming. Sorry, I just had a hiccup. And then Twitch or Twitter/X, it is Active Rel. That's with an REL, Active Rel Gaming. Then the top left corner is a little QR code that you can go and scan to join our Discord. You can come and chat with each and every one of us as we try to build a community with all of you. And as a reminder, this Friday is the return of the news podcast. We're going to be collecting the articles that we think you should know about from this week. Already crazy stuff happening. So this will be another interesting conversation to be having on Friday. And that will be this Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So catch that, come check it out, and chat with us about what is happening in the gaming industry, because there's a lot happening. Nothing is slowing down, which is a good and bad thing. So, and we are also 1 week out from Resident Evil Requiem. So we're definitely going to probably be doing something for Requiem, whether it's one of us streaming the game, and then we'll actually have a review of Requiem as we finish up the game. So I'm very excited to talk about it as we're finally 1 week out from it. I assume you're pretty hyped for it at this point too.
Yeah. The only thing I wish I had was the time to go back and play some of the Resident Evil games that lead up to this. That's the only thing I wish I could have done. I played them. I would love to have played them now.
Yeah, and if like anyone does have the time, I definitely recommend doing 2 remake and 4 remake before going into 9, because this is going to be another part of Leon's story. So we're going to be seeing maybe how Leon's story in the Resident Evil universe concludes. We'll see, because I don't really think, in terms of Resident Evil lore, 7 or 8 are going to matter as much to 9 as 2 and 4 does. Maybe even 6. Maybe we get some 6 callbacks, even though 6 is very not a Resident Evil game. It's an action game, and I know a lot of people don't like Resident Evil 6, but I'm really wondering if we're going to get some callbacks and some nods to 6, and Capcom acknowledges what that game actually is. So
the only thing I did hear is they are definitely filling in some of the gaps, like of Leon's story and so forth. So that's why I said I really wish I could have played 2 and 4 leading up to this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more fresh on 4 because I did play 4 remake a couple years back, and 2 remake as well. So I'm pretty fresh with Leon's story, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see how Requiem even plays out at this point. So we shall see. But today, we are going to be doing our High on Life 2 review and God of War Sons of Sparta first impressions. And I actually want to start with God of War, because this is a shadow drop that came out on Thursday. It is a brand new entry into the God of War franchise. This is canon to the story, and it is a completely different play style for God of War, as this is a 2.5D Metroidvania. So completely different genre, completely different combat system, graphics, development. I know Sony Santa Monica has helped these developers, but they are not the main developer for this game. And this story takes place, it's a prologue to Kratos, and it's him as a young child before he finds out he's a demigod. So this game revolves around you in Sparta, and like I said, it's a Metroidvania style. And I want to do a little something different here. You know, usually it's just my dad asking me questions about the game, which I'm sure you're going to ask me questions. And it's usually just me throwing up, pre-made video from other YouTubers. But today I am just going to play the game as you ask me questions so we can actually go over it. So I do have God of War Sons of Sparta currently running on the PlayStation 5 Pro, for those who are wondering. And I have it remote played here.
I want you to go
on
back.
The console. All right, let me go back.
Back
to the main menu.
Is there a
difficulty slider?
Let's take a look for my purposes.
There is a difficulty slider. There are 3 difficulties to the game. You got Boy, Cadet, and Spartan. I am currently on normal mode, which is Cadet, which is a balance between story and challenge. So that is what I've been playing it on right now. So it is there.
That was my first question.
All right.
My first question.
And obviously, like right off the rip, as anyone who looks at this is not a traditional God of War game. This is a straight up Metroidvania. And I have been playing this game for the last 4 to 5 hours, I would say. And it is such an interesting game. So let me just start. Do I like God of War Sons of Sparta? The answer is yes, I do like it. But It is taking a while for this game to get going. I think with any kind of Metroidvania, I think the one thing that you need to remember is so much of it is reliant on you going and getting items, doubling back, and opening up new areas. And the thing with this one is it is a very story heavy game. As you know, with any God of Wars, they are very focused on the narrative, and Sons of Sparta is no different, even given the art style and how this game plays. Like, you know, when you have like a traditional Metroidvania, like with a Castlevania or like a Metroid Dread, there isn't like a lot of emphasis on the dialogue. I know Castlevania does have quite a bit of dialogue, but like where like Metroid Dread is just kind of more about the atmosphere itself. This game is very much story first, and they are using this genre to tell this story. So let's just start there. The story itself, I think, is fine enough to start. I do think it's interesting seeing Kratos at such a young age with his brother before he knows he's a demigod. But I think the thing where people are going to really falter is they are expecting the Kratos that has the Blades of Chaos, the Kratos that has like the Leviathan axe, and all these crazy powers from the original Greek trilogy. And this game is not that. As you see, your main weapon is actually a spear, and that is what you are running around with as you are battling enemies. Now, the quick thing I do want to talk about is the actual combat system, which I think is one of the game's strong suits. So if you remember, Dad, you remember in God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, they had the whole gear system where you can level up gear to get your level, right?
Correct.
They implemented that here into the Metroidvania. So right now I have 4 items, but the 2 that makes me get to a level 2 is the spear and the shield. So that is the one thing that I really like about this game is it does incentivize you going and actually leveling up your stuff because it's going to scale with you. And it brings that system from the other God of Wars into this to make it feel a little familiar. So there's many different options. You can fully customize the spear between the spearhead, the hilt, and the handle. And each of them give you like different abilities. So for example, I made this a level 3, and this spear tip focuses on generating more Spartan spirit, which is essentially like in God of War, like how you would build Spartan rage. You have your own Spartan spirit meter that you are filling, and those are just attacks that get you health orbs in combat. So do you have any questions as we're kind of looking at this right now?
Yeah, you're looking at that right now. What does the skill set look like?
Yeah, so right now you have a defensive and offensive skill tree that you can go through, and at the top right corner you see these blood orbs. This is your currency that you are earning throughout the game, at least for skills and upgrading weapons. You also have to find different materials in order to upgrade certain weapons as well, or shields like iron ingots, crude iron, etc. There's a whole bunch of different things. Obviously, I'm still early on in the game, so the skill tree could get a lot more in depth, but this is what it's currently looking like right now, where you get to upgrade certain things and just see how that progresses. And you can only upgrade at bonfires, essentially, like in Dark Souls. And then like this is how the defensive skill tree looks like as well.
Now, I did see during the gameplay that you're playing, there's certain save points you just can't save anywhere.
Yeah, you have to go to certain save points. It kind of, well, think of it like a Dark Souls game where your bonfires, essentially, whenever you light it, you are saving the game. You can save it. You can enhance your materials. You can learn your skills. And then whenever you do hit the bonfire, all the enemies in the area do reset. So whatever enemies you did defeat in the process leading up to this will respawn once you hit a bonfire. So, and then there is a whole bunch of different goals. So this game, like I said, is very story heavy. So there's a whole bunch of different quests that you get to do. This game is massive. And that is the biggest surprise for me from a first impression, is how much content is actually packed into this game. For the main story, a lot of people are reporting that it takes 15 to 20 hours to actually get through the main story of this game. That being said, there is also tons of other content to grab and fill out. There's tons of collectibles for you to go along, and also different side quests. Like, for example, these you have to go collect like 92 records of a Laconian dangers, or there's drive off one of like three birds. I did a boss fight last night where I encountered like an optional boss, and it was one of these like big birds that you get to fight. So that opened up a whole new quest line as well. So this game is very story rich. It is fully voice acted from people. So it's very interesting to see this happen.
Now, it's obviously a linear game. When you get to a safe point,
it's not linear. No, because this is the map. It is an open world like a Metroidvania style. It is open world. So, and the one criticism I do have is I do think the map can be a little bit better because it is kind of hard to understand and navigate. But yeah, these are all the areas that I have essentially discovered so far. And right here is like my next quest. I got to head back to Sparta. But this is an open world Metroidvania.
Is there fast travel?
There is fast travel, but you have to go to certain points. You can't just do it willy-nilly, from my understanding.
It reminds me a lot of the most recent iteration of Prince of Persia.
It is very much like Prince of Persia. So for anyone who has played the Prince of Persia Lost Crowns, I think it's called, it is in line with that. So like if Metroidvanias are truly not your style, I don't really think this game is going to be for you. And I'm just going to be blunt, because at the end of the day, like the reason why I'm playing this is because I like God of War and I like the story. Now, the question is, will I be finishing this game? I don't know yet. I think it's going to depend on how I'm feeling as I get to maybe hour 8 or 10, because as of right now, it is getting a little bit repetitive. I'm not so fond of the map design, but I do think the combat system and the way the game feels is very snappy and punchy. So I do think like the core gameplay system really hits. The thing is, though, the story, like, even though I do think it's a fine enough story, it's not grabbing me as much as I wanted to. And when you're having a story-based game, you want that story to kind of take you along and make sure that the narrative is engaging. And as of now, like I said, I do think Kratos at this time is an interesting place to be, but it's not fully hitting for me just yet. Because like, I don't know. I always get a little burnt out about prequels just because like we all know what happens at the end, and I'm not sure if I'm truly invested in seeing like getting up to that point. I always say it's like the Han Solo movie where like we all know where Han Solo and Chewbacca ended up. Like I really don't know if I needed to see the moments leading up to that. Yeah.
Now, I see when you're fighting your health bar, there's 2 other bars. Is one of those like a blood rage?
So the yellow bar is your Spartan attacks. Hello, agent to the chat. Welcome. Is your Spartan attacks. And these are the attacks that essentially give you health orbs when doing it. Agent asks, is this game good? First impressions, and that's what I'm going over. I think the game is fine to good at the moment. Now, granted, I'm only on hour 4 of this game. I'm not very far, and I don't have as many items as I would like at the moment to really get into the Metroidvania style. But that being said, like I said, I do think the inherent combat, the gameplay feel, it's very snappy, it's very fluid. And I think there is so much content here, and for a $30 price tag, you can't really go wrong with it. But like I said, I find it hard to recommend for people who are not a Metroidvania person. Like, I don't think this is going to really engage a whole new audience. Now, granted, when we had our first podcast in the new year, I said my New Year's resolution was to play games that are not in my comfort zone, and Metroidvanias are definitely not in my comfort zone. So I'm going to try to go through this and try to appreciate what makes a Metroidvania special. On basis, this is not God of War, David Jaffe, which I do disagree with that whole take. Like, I think this is still, it's a God of War game at the end of the day. And I think if this is what the creators intended, this is still a God of War story. It is still using the characters. And I think just because it is not a traditional game in the God of War sense doesn't mean it's not a God of War game. This is still a God of War game. There's still the same characters, still all the same lore. It's just a matter of, do you jive with this kind of gameplay is the question. And right now, I think I like it enough to keep me going, but will I finish it? That is a question for later on, as there's so many other games coming out.
Now, I don't know this, and I know you didn't finish it yet, but does this end right up to the first true God of War game?
That I don't know, but I assume this game is leading up to you figuring out you're a demigod, and that you are the son of Zeus. Whether or not you get to play as the Kratos we all know, which I think that would made this Metroidvania even like 10 times better, is like if I got to do this with the Blades of Chaos, oh my God, I think this game would be absolutely phenomenal. But Bombay says, whoa, spoiler alert. Sorry, yeah. But yeah, I think I really like the experiment because we all talk about within the gaming industry, we want smaller games, we want different kinds of games out there for smaller price tags. And I think this is a perfect experiment from Sony Santa Monica. I really dig that they did this experiment with another studio to give us something God of War. Like, I love God of War so much that, like I said, I do want to see this game through to the end. It does just come down to time at the end of the day. So it's just a matter of, like I said, time. But do you have any more questions? Do you think, like, if I were to give, like, I think, giving scores this early on is kind of silly, but if I were to give a score right now at hour 4 of the game, I think it's like a 7 out of 10. I think it's a good video game. It is a good game. It's entertaining. It's enjoyable. I just want a little bit more oomph from it. And I think that is the style of Metroidvania is I just got to be patient and go a little bit further into the game in order to get it.
Let me tell you where I would fare out with it is I'm a Prince of Persia fan, and the newest iteration I did not like. I did not like the parkour, that they kind of put into it. So I would have to play this game to kind of see is it that parkourish as the new Prince of Persia? If it is, then I would not like it.
I mean,
if it's not, like you, I'm a God of War fan. I would like to play it just for the story of it.
Agent asked, do you think High on Life 2 is good? We'll get to that into the second half of this podcast, so don't you worry. We will get to that shortly. It is a parkouring game, like a Metroidvania. Like there, I'm not gonna fool you and say, oh no, there's no parkour. Like you saw me, I was kind of failing at it, like because I'm not used to these styles of games, so I'm trying to get better at it. But yeah, there's parkour in it. That's how you mainly traverse, is you are going up, down, left, right, and going through all directions based on where the map is telling you to go. So I really don't think, if that is your case and you didn't like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown because of its gameplay systems, I really don't think God of War is going to be for you. Because like I said, Sons of Sparta, because this is so much in Metroidvania using the God of War world and lore. So if that's not your gameplay style, I don't think I can recommend this to you because I don't think it's going to sell you.
One of the things that you said early on that really turned me off is, how I feel about having to run through a level and then run back through that same level.
Like, I mean, but that's the whole style of Metroidvania. So like you saying that is just going against an entire design system. Like that has been the design system since Castlevania and Metroid first came out, is backtracking. And like there is a kind of catharsis to that I do like, which is seeing something that you can't get and then coming back and being like, yeah, like and Bombay, I agree with Bombay. You just explained Resident Evil, so then you inherently don't like Resident Evil either by that logic.
There's a difference though in that. Again, I love Resident Evil and I like going back. It's so hard to explain where I come from with that. So, no, I'm a Resident Evil fan through and through.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a deeper conversation about back traveling in games, because like I think that you also didn't like one of the Dooms, I think, because of the backtracking as well. And I'm like,
no, it was Star Wars. It was the one.
Oh yeah, it was Jedi Order, which I was like, that's crazy. But like I said, then I don't know how you like Resident Evil, because Resident Evil is all about backtracking, where you see something that is locked, you run, you go do the puzzle, you get what you need, and you come back.
That's different, though. That to me is different. And again, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
But it's no different than Star Wars or this. Like I am telling you, like that is just factually wrong, because they take, so Resident Evil takes that Metroidvania style of seeing something locked, going and getting the item and coming back. Like maybe it's because you like zombies more. like, or maybe it's because that Bombay says successful rage bait. Like, yeah, like it's just like they are the exact same design philosophies, and it just might come down to the world itself that you are not. You like seeing the Resident Evil or Silent Hill world because that is what you're more attached to right now, and you like zombies more rather than like, okay, I've already seen this planet in Star Wars 20 times. How many times can I go see Tatooine for the 20th time? Maybe it's that, but those are the inherent gameplay systems, and
But I do want to just address Agent saying that he only likes the old God of Wars. Did you play the two most recent ones? I mean, to me, they are flawless in greatness.
Yeah. No,
Because
they're perfect.
I'm an original God of War fan too, but the two newest ones, the Valhallas, man, they are flawlessly great.
Yeah, I think it definitely brought God of War to the modern era in a very flawless way. But leading back to the whole thesis of My Sons of Sparta, I think it's a good game as of now. I think it's a very slow starting Metroidvania. So for anyone who has played a Metroidvania, it is usually pretty impactful right away. Like with a Metroid, you usually have like a big set piece immediately, and it is all hype, and then it dies down a little bit, but then it's all hype again. Sons of Sparta is pretty slow from the start, so you have to be ready to be patient with the game and give it the time that it's asking for. And I think the story, from what I can read, it's going to net out to be pretty good in the end because I love God of War lore. So yeah, I it's only $29.99. It's on PlayStation 5 right now only, so definitely go check it out if you are a fan of Metroidvanias. I think it is a solid enough Metroidvania right now. But if you're also a God of War fan, it's a double whammy. So I will be excited to talk about it once I get further into the game. But yeah, I enjoy it as of now. So, but before we move into High on Life 2, I just want to take a quick word from our website, activereloadgaming.com.
Got games you don't play anymore? Turn that collection into cash at activereloadgaming.com. It's fast, it's easy, and you get paid quick. Or if you are looking to buy, check us out on eBay or scroll through our Games by console. Find us at Active Reload Gaming.
Hey, it said .com. We're winning lately. Oh God. Something just hit the back of my throat. Either ways, High on Life 2. I am pretty much at the end of the game. You started the game, and I'm excited to talk about High on Life 2 because you and I were pretty big High on Life 1 fans when that game came out. Yes. And when High on Life 2 was announced, I was like, great. But then I forgot, like, for all those who don't know, there was some big controversy with Justin Roiland. He did some horrible things, and he got fired from Squanch Games. And this was the first Squanch game without Justin Roiland behind the wheel and crafting the humor and what this world is like. So I was very curious, and obviously it's the same thing that happened with Rick and Morty for Rick and Morty fans. So it was kind of going through the same level of what is going to happen with this IP. So High on Life 2 released last week, and I have been playing it all weekend, and I am pretty much at the end of the game. I am on the final boss fight, and I am excited to talk about it. But before I start, I want to go with you because you're early on in High on Life 2. First off, I want to just quick ask, what was your relationship with High on Life 1? Did you enjoy that game? And I want to move that into High on Life 2.
Now, High on Life 1, absolutely loved. I knew nothing about it when it came out. Jumped into it thinking it was just going to be this game that passed my time until I found something new. And I fell in love with it. Like, I played this through. I played every, spoke to every NPC, did all the side quest stuff. Loved it. I was blown away by it. I couldn't wait. We actually met, who was it that autographed?
The comic book writer.
The comic book writer. We met him, got an autograph on it. Loved it. So when they announced High on Life 2, I could not wait for this to come out. But I'm not as thrilled with the second one.
And why is that?
Well, for whatever reason, it's just not grabbing me. It's not grabbing me and hitting the way that one did. Now, granted, I'm only 3 hours, 4 hours into it. I will play it until Requiem comes out. Um, but if I don't finish this by the time Requiem comes out, I'm not going to be upset. It's just not, I don't know what it is. I don't know if the novelty's worn off for me. Um, to me, I don't think they added enough with the guns. It's the same guns. I love looking here for the JB Smooth fans. I love that they brought him back because I think he's an incredible voiceover for that. But I don't think they added enough new guns in it. I
Well,
don't.
once again, you're only 3 hours in. I have all the weapons, so
Okay, but don't they only add 2 or 3 new weapons?
the total. So there's three originals,
Knifey.
and well, I'm not counting Knifey in terms of just the guns you shoot. So in terms of the originals, they brought back Knifey, Creature, JB Smooth's character, and then the main SMG pistol that you have. And then they added new characters. I'm not going to spoil, but there's technically 2 right there, 2, 3, so 4 new weapons.
Like there's little things I think they could have done to improve the game. I don't like the way the weapons feel. They could have made them a little bit deeper. Like this, you're shooting a shotgun, and again, just looking at improvements from one that they could have done simple stuff. I don't think the dialogue is as funny as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So again, to me, I'm not sitting here saying that, hey, if you were a fan of High on Life 1, that you're not going to like High on Life 2. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just being a little over cynical to it. I think that I will end up playing it and liking it. I think because you had told me, from where I'm at right now in the story, it's so slow.
Yeah.
Like it's slow. And
yeah.
I wanted this to come out, pick up where it left off, and it's not grabbing me in.
Yeah, so I have a very difficult relationship with High on Life 2 right now. So I'm going to say where I stand with High on Life 2 as I roll into the ending of the game. Like I said, I'm on the final level, the final bounty of the game. Right now, as it stands, I would give High on Life 2 another 7 out of 10. I think it is a good game. It is not a great game. It does not match the highs of High on Life 1 at all. Now, there are levels and moments in this game that I think are genuinely very inspired. I think really let loose in the creativity, and especially, so the one thing Agent says, the bosses feel repetitive. I do slightly disagree with you on that, because I do think there is one boss in particular that gets super creative with you having to go into the settings menu. So I do think they get creative with some of the levels here. But I want to say, like I said, with the 7 out of 10, I think the opening on High on Life 2 is very slow to start. And I was getting kind of bored of the game for the first couple levels until the level when you have to go to the convention world. I think Convention World is such a great level. I think it really set the tone of what the rest of this game is going to be. And then the subsequent level of going into the low polygon wizard world, I think was also great. I really like that. But then I think the game started to dip again when you go back to America into Wyoming. So this game has this weird ebb and flow state right now where it has such high highs, and then it gets into such low lows, and I'm really confused as to what the whole plan is here, because they have such, like I said, moments of inspiration and creativity, and then it just feels like another shooting gallery. Where I agree with you. The shooting in this game does not feel great. I think it is it doesn't pack a punch. It feels a little floaty. And I think the one thing in this game, I don't remember it being this bad in High on Life 1, but I think the enemy AI design is inherently flawed. I think for me, they've bugged out so much in this game where they are looking all over the place. They're looking behind, like completely shooting up in the air, just avoiding you in general. And I've had a lot of times where the game will have their enemy spawn system, but then the enemies are spawned into the ground, and I have to go like look on the radar, and I'm like, okay, I'm standing over them, and I just see like a small little hand poking out that I have to shoot. Like there's been, I think, 5 times where I had to restart checkpoint. Now I am playing this on console because I know the PC version is completely busted right now, where there is reports of a lot of crashes. I don't know if the update has rolled out just yet. So I'm playing on console, so I haven't had any crashes, but I've had a lot of game-breaking bugs, which is super disappointing and has been kind of a frustrating experience. But when it hits its highs, it reminds me so much of High on Life 1, and it is so good at being that, and I can see that this team can truly live on without Justin Roiland and his antics. Like, this is that they can do it, but then it's just that messiness in between these levels. I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, what happened? Because it just strings you along. And I like the rambling humor, but like doing like 8 bits of rambling back to back to back to get to the incredible moment, I'm like, okay, like we're really dragging this on right now.
One of the things I do like, I'll give a positive to this. I do like the skateboard system.
Is phenomenal. Whoever designed the skateboard needs a raise.
Correct.
I 100% agree with you. For a first-person shooter, I did not expect a skateboard to feel as good as it does. The parkouring system in this game is great. Like, it really adapts the skateboard super well into a 3-dimensional first-person space. Yeah, I fully agree with you, and I like the momentum of it, and being able to like kick flip and like kick it into someone's face to stun them. Really good stuff with the skateboard. I really enjoy that addition to this game.
Sure. And the other thing that the positive is what I've played up now, and just Agent, I did like the murder mystery as well, is there's less, I hesitate to call them cut screens, but long dialogue of nothing really doing. So they did cut down on that, which I enjoyed. Like, okay, they got enough dialogue in there, but then they cut that down, where I thought the High on Life 1 had a little bit bloated areas that they were just playing those long cut screens. But again, am I going to finish it? I'm going to give it a try to again finish this before Requiem, but it to me does not hit as great as High on Life 1 did.
So the one thing I want to ask you is, I'm going to put it in quotes, how are you feeling about the open world area of it? Because I find it to be so much more bland than the first one. I felt like the first one, when you went into the open areas to go exploring, I felt like they felt so much more alive. Like this one, like it really feels like a dead city. Like maybe I'm just missing something, but I don't feel as much activity happening in this world as much as High on Life 1. And I don't know if that's like a development limitation that they hit, or they're just, maybe I'm waiting for something more like in the end game. But like I really like expected more from this. Like I one of my favorite open world side missions is going out with Jebby and doing a day with Jebby and going to the beach, which is your half brother. But like I felt like High on Life 1 had more of those moments. Like there's so many moments in the open world High on Life 1 that really stand out to me that I just haven't been finding in 2. Like I feel like they really stripped away. Like High on Life 1, like one of my favorite moments is so simple, which is the guy says, look at my bike, don't look away or they'll steal it. Right. And the minute you look away, that the bike is gone. Like it's just like little things like that I haven't really found in 2, and I'm really surprised. Are you feeling that?
Now, I didn't until you just mentioned it. And yes, you are 100% correct that the city doesn't feel like it's filled with the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
You know, that I agree 100%. I didn't notice it until you just said it. I feel like I'm just running through, like you said, a dead city. There's no doubt. And I just want to kind of circle back. You know, you said, maybe that was part of my frustration, as I tried to download it on the PC and I played the same first 5 minutes at least 6 times. I would uninstall, install it,
Yeah.
uninstall, and then I had to go to the console to do it. And I told you this, I'm running the P on the 5080, and it looked incredible.
Yeah.
Like on the, and then when I had to go jump to the console, the graphics weren't as good. They kind of looked a little blurry.
So turning off motion blur did help me a lot with that problem, because I had that issue too. I'm like, man, this game just looks blurry as hell. I went into the settings, turned off motion blur, and it just made it substantially better.
Okay, maybe I'll have to try that. But the performance issues kind of, again, it's like going from 4K down to 720p. It's still the same movie, but you could see the difference, and you're not as happy because you saw what 4K looked like. It's kind of the same thing here. I was playing those, first 5 minutes on the 5080, and I didn't want to go back, and it forced me to.
Now, the one thing I do want to bring up is the voice acting. I do think the voice acting is great as ever, like in High on Life 1. And I think the new additions of some of the voice actors really stand out, especially Ralph Ineson, who is Galactus in Fantastic Four. And he's been an actor in many other films. He is one of the new weapons in the game. And his line delivery in this is so great, because it is this very, like, masculine relationship, like broship between him and Knifey, and they just love killing so much that it does produce some very quality dialogue between the two. And there's moments where this game has made me chuckle. I'm not going to say that the writing is fully flat. Like, I do think there are a lot of moments where I did laugh out loud. They do have a couple jokes where I'm like, wow, that is a great gag. That's a great bit. And I really think that, like, some of the bits in the low polygon world in the fantasy world have so much potential, and they were really funny. Especially, like, there's this one bit in that level where you meet this, like, wizard of the forest, and everyone keeps telling you, like, why the hell are you with this dude? Like, he is a bad dude. And the whole bit of the whole level is like you asking, like, what did this guy do? And no one can say it. Like, no one can tell you what it is. And then finally you get the weapon of that level. And as you're leaving, you're like, can you finally tell me what he did? He goes, I can't tell you, or this game's going to get an adults only rating. Like, I really like those fourth wall breaks that they do, especially like for video game players. So yeah, but that being said, I still think this game is good at the end of the day, given all of its flaws, because the highs have been so high in this that I really have enjoyed my time. But it's those moments of traveling between the levels that get really dull, that I'm like, I really am not enjoying my time here. And I just really think the padding and the level design could have been stronger, especially in the open area, to connect the two, to make it flow way better.
Have you experienced oddly long load times? Now, let me preface that. They're not long. Again, we're a society that you heat up your cup of coffee in a microwave in 5 seconds is too long anymore.
Yeah.
I just felt that, like, for a 2026 game, that the load screens were weirdly longer than they should be.
Are you talking about, like, when you see all the pills dropping on the screen?
Correct.
Yeah, there has been moments where my loading has actually lasted about like 20 to 30 seconds, which, like, in 2026 standards is pretty long.
Correct.
But yeah, I think it might also be an Unreal Engine issue. I think they're loading a lot of assets in. I know this is an Unreal Engine 5 game. A lot of people have beef with Unreal Engine 5, but that's a whole nother topic and conversation about the actual technical aspects of Unreal. But yeah, I have hit some pretty long loading screens, because I've only died once in this game, and I remember, like, it took forever to load it back up. And it was in a level that wasn't even that big. It was the Wyoming level. Like, I died to the boss fight there once, and then, like, it took forever to come back. So, like I said, like you said, this game does have a lot of performance issues, and I think that could be part of it.
Sure. And I'm looking at Agent. I agree the maps, excuse me, should have been a little smaller, because I'm even running around the main map with the beach and everything else, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like with High on Life 1, I really wanted to explore and find all the small Easter eggs. And, like, even in this one, like, as an achievement hunter, I don't know if I want to go get all the achievements in this one. Like, I think I want to see the end of the story, because I think where the story's currently at has been fun and good enough that it makes me enjoy the game. But yeah, I don't know. For a game that I was really excited for, I am a little let down in some areas, because like High on Life 1 was like an 8.5 to me. I think that was a really great video game, really fun. And this is a step down. But I do think a lot of these issues can be worked out with updates. And if they do, I hope this game succeeds, because I would love to see a High on Life 3 and see where they do take this franchise. And I think a lot of these design issues could be fixed in that game.
But you made a point, and I had said this to somebody else, that this could be a better game when they do their updates and their fixes. In 2026, with all the bangers coming out, I think you have one shot to grab the people and you're done. That's the issue that I see into 2026, because we see what's coming out. We see that just about every other week there's new stuff falling. So, yes, will you get people to play High on Life 2 in November? Yes, possibly. But being in the industry, that you need to make the hay when it drops. That's when you need to make it. You're not going to make it with the 100 people that download it in December. So, making that statement, it's more important now in this industry to make sure that you're coming out with both guns blazing, and look at it that you don't have time to do the updates.
Yeah, it is that push and pull. And every game is vying for your attention nowadays. And like, you are on 1 week cycles at this point of what's the next thing coming out. I mean, it's a great time to be a gamer. It's such a hard time to be in the industry and be a game developer, because so much of your game relies on that first day impression nowadays. And luckily, this game, I do recommend people checking it out. It is on Game Pass. If you do have it, shameless plug. So like, do check it out, download it on Game Pass if you have it. It's also not a full price game. I think it's only $60. So like, it isn't a $70 game, which is good. And like I said, I still think there is a lot of fun to be had here. So yeah, it's just, the technical issues, I think some of the design of the levels are just holding it back a bit for me, but I do think the highs are so high in this game that it is worth seeing through. So,
Agent says it's not worth $50.
And the eye of the beholder of what you think a game should be priced. I mean, I think there's a lot here. It's like a 10 to 15 hour game, so not full price, which is fine. Like I said, it's also on Game Pass. So if you do have Game Pass, definitely go just download it and check it out.
Sure.
Yeah.
But again, I somewhat agree. If I looked at it compared to High on Life 1, I might agree with Agent. $60, $50. Definitely not a $70 game, in my opinion.
No.
But, it's the sweet spot for me would be 40 to 50 on this one.
Well, then I guess, picking up on Touchy Feely says $60 game is not full price game. Are we now in that? We've been in that era. $70 has been the standard since 2020 now.
Yeah.
So yeah, $60 is not full priced anymore. We are in that era, which is crazy to think about. But I think we're getting into the era now that we're seeing flexible and different pricing models where not everything has to be $70, which is a good thing. It's good for the industry. But yeah.
Just like Grand Theft Auto is going to come out at $30.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Yeah. But yeah, do you have anything else to say about High on Life 2? Because I really don't.
I do not.
All right. So yeah, that is High on Life 2. To everyone in the chat, let me know if you're going to check it out. It's on Game Pass, or if you're going to wait for on sale, a deep sale, go ahead. But definitely see what the game is all about. Go watch some gameplay, see if it's up your alley. Or if you liked High on Life 1, you'll probably like some of High on Life 2. But if you didn't like High on Life 1, I don't think this game is going to do it for you. And if you don't like that Rick and Morty style of humor, I really don't think this game's going to do it for you either. So
correct. 100% agree with that.
That is today. Thank you all for coming and listening. We will be back on Friday for the Father and Son Gaming News podcast. We're going to be breaking down all the news from the week. So yeah, remember that will be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and that will be on this Friday. To all those who are watching, and follow us on all of our socials right here on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Spotify. We're at Active Reload Gaming. Twitch or Twitter/X, we are at Active Rel. That is with an REL, Active Rel Gaming. And then in the top left corner, you can scan that, join our Discord, and come chat with us, hang out, and see what it's all about. Come build a community with us. That being said, we are live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So you can find us right here on Active Reload Gaming. Stay tuned. We might be doing something during the week. It's going to be a busy week, so we'll see. But just keep in touch with our socials, communications, all that, and you will find out as we post things. But I hope everyone had a great Monday. I hope everyone has a great rest of your week, and we will see you all next time. Peace out, all.